Welcome, everyone, to our final Speak Up Short before the conference begins. Over the past few weeks, we've talked about speaking, about ministry, writing, and building connections. And today we're bringing together members of the Speak Up team. And these are some of my favorite people to work with, and I know you will enjoy hearing from them today. And they're going to help you to prepare for one of the most important investments you can make in your writing and speaking and ministry journeys. So we're glad you're here.
Yeah, so whether you're attending in person or virtually, our goal today is simple. We want to help you arrive prepared, confident, and ready to maximize every single opportunity available for you. So we are going to share some practical tips, some insider advice, and some reasons why we believe that Speak Up continues to be one of the most unique conferences available for Christian writers and speakers.
Thanks, Carol. And today we have several members of the Speak Up team here with us because one of the questions we get most often is, what makes the Speak Up conference different from everything else that's out there? And is it really worth attending? So rather than hearing it from us alone, we wanted you to meet some of the people who helped to make Speak Up what it is. And we want you to hear firsthand what they believe is the greatest value of the conference. Each of them brings a very unique perspective, from faculty relationships and conference programming to appointments, networking, and virtual participation. Together, they help create an experience that equips writers, speakers, ministry leaders, and communicators to grow in both their craft and their calling. So let's welcome our Speak Up team. First of all, Bonnie Emery. And Bonnie Emery is our Speak Up conference director. She also happens to be my sister, and she is the most organized person I have ever met. And she will give you lots of excellent information today. Then Rachel Wojo is our Speak Up Growth Group's director. And Rachel is jack of all trades. She speaks, she writes, she's a podcaster, she's a technical genius. I'll tell you, when I don't know how to make an app work, she always can find an answer for me. And she loves Jesus and she loves prayer. So you can't go wrong with Rachel. And behind the scenes, we have Carrie Spring, who works on our website needs and helps with many technical issues, and Maria Ford, who is our wonderful media coordinator. She works with all of our social media. Carol T., what's up?
Yeah, well, Carol Kent, actually, who is a very founder of the Speak Up ministry and the opportunities that she gives us, all to be a part of it. So you've been leading Speak Up for so many years. Do you know how many years it's been since you started?
Actually, it started in my living room in 1983. So that's a lot of years, over 40.
Wow. I was in like junior high.
You were hardly ever born by then.
I don't think Rachel was born by then, maybe. I don't know. A little bit younger. But we really want to talk today about what makes Speak Up so different, because there's lots of writer conferences out there. There's lots of speakers conferences out there, and they all offer just great quality and teaching. But what makes Speak Up different? And really, what's the heart behind the conference?
Well, I'll start with how we began. I was finishing up as a teaching leader for Bible Study Fellowship, and I saw a lot of my Bible study participants who had a story to tell, but they didn't know how to summarize it and be able to share it with the gospel in 30 minutes. And then there were people who loved the Bible, but they weren't really sure how to outline it and teach it and put it together in notes that would help them to be able to give out this biblical truth in a class that they might teach in their church or community or at a retreat. And so I gathered them together in my living room, and out of that eventually was born the Speak Up Conference. So we want to equip Christian writers, speakers, and leaders, and anybody who's involved in ministry communications to effectively share God's truth. What makes us different? Well, when you come to Speak Up, you'll find out that it is more than just a place where we teach and have classes. We interact with each other. So the networking is absolutely awesome. And it's we create a safe space for people to grow. They can feel very comfortable talking to each other at the tables and with our faculty and industry professionals. And we help attendees to move from their dream into some action steps that will get them where they're going. And if you are in the very beginning stages, we just want to be encouragers in your life. We want to give you ideas, help you brainstorm. So wherever you are in your journey, that's what we want to help you with, to take the next step. And we try to balance practical training with a lot of spiritual encouragement. And so some people say, I thought I was coming to an event where it was going to be like classes all the time. And I found out I'm actually in a place where I'm growing spiritually, and I'm so encouraged in my heart. It's like a spiritual revival. And we want people to know that relationships matter to us at Speak Up. You're not just coming for a weekend. You're entering into the Speak Up tribe, where you will have encouragement and opportunities for networking for a lifetime.
Carol, that is so important. I think your last point about relationships, because when I first started going to conferences on my own journey, the connections that I made were some of the most valuable connections I could have. And yes, it was great that I met faculty and industry professionals, but really the connections I made with my peers and people that were kind of on the same journey and kind of struggling just like I was became such an encouragement. And I recognized that I wasn't alone. And so connections matter. So here is just a follow-up for you. What transformation do you really, as you're looking towards Speak Up and just praying and planning for what's going to happen there, what transformational experience do you hope the attendees will have while they're at Speak Up?
Well, I love that question, Carol. And I see people coming in and they have this dream. They want to write a book, or they would love to be able to speak confidently from a platform. What I hope they leave with is that they will start focusing on how can I just become better at what I do in writing or speaking, but how can I honor God with the unique gifts I have that will best get his kingdom work accomplished in this lifetime. And I think when we quit focusing on if we can write or speak better than somebody else, and we think, wow, what's a unique personality God gave me? How can I use that for the greatest benefit in my lifetime to do God's kingdom work? And when we transform in terms of our mental thoughts about how we can glorify God, pretty exciting things happen, because it's not a competition. It is a collaboration.
So good. I love that answer.
Well, it is such a privilege for us to have on the screen with us today people who work with me on a week-to-week and sometimes a day-by-day basis in Speak Up Ministries. And Rachel Wojo is one of those people who is not only a coworker, she's a precious friend to me. And Rachel, one of the things people often underestimate is the value of the relationships they build at a conference like Speak Up. Can you talk about the connections that happen at Speak Up and why they matter?
Yes. Well, Carol T said it just earlier about how important those relationships are, and especially the peer relationship. I remember back when I first believed I was called to write and speak, I had no one in my church who was doing what I was doing, and it was very strange. Nobody really understood what my goals were or why I was doing what I was doing. It was just very difficult to find someone, not just within my church, but within my whole community. And I live in a very metropolitan area. It took some time before I figured out, okay, there are a few of us here, but we all live a little ways apart and we're not really joined together by any one thing. And so when I came to Speak Up conference, I just realized immediately, oh, there is a special moment when you walk in a room and you feel like, these are my people. They get it. And that's such a good feeling. Carol alluded to that earlier. Then I think one of the parts of that is that you will find people who have a totally different story than what you do. And yet there are so many common things, common emotions and principles that you have. And that enables for you to have some really great conversations that can then carry over into podcast interviews, into radio interviews, into opportunities for you to begin sharing your story on a peer-to-peer level that then starts to snowball into more opportunities. So it's just so very important to have all of that. Those relationships continue long after the conference ends and really on an ongoing basis, which then I have to say, I'm a very strategic person. And I think one of my favorite parts of that is that it gives you accountability. You leave the conference and you have this big to-do list and all these goals and grand ideas, but then 3 months after you're home, it's like, oh yeah, I was going to do that. And you kind of just forget what the point of it all was. And so you need your peers to hold you accountable. Did you meet that goal? Did you get that podcast interview? Did you land that agent? Did you work on that book proposal? Whatever the question is. And then lastly, I would just say that you really get access to incredible people. I don't know how God blessed me so much to get to work under Carol Kent. And I know that Carol Tetzloff said the same thing just a couple of weeks ago in a meeting. Or like, we are soaking up every bit of wisdom we can get from her experience. And I think that's one of the beauties of making yourself present at a conference like this. You don't know who God's going to put on your table that you might get to rub shoulders with. I had an opportunity years ago at a conference to sit with Kay Arthur, and it was so beautiful, and I've never forgotten that. And so we want to provide those opportunities for you. I saw some ladies that are on the call today that if you went to the conference and met them, Pat Layton, Jana McHenry, those ladies would just lift your spirit and you would be so encouraged. And so I hope that explains really what all of that does. That probably took more time than I was supposed to, but I just get excited about building those relationships and seeing people connect well. And then, I'm not a big fan of that word networking because it makes it sound like you're passing out your business card to everyone when it's really more like, what are your prayer requests? What are your needs? How are you, making this proposal happen? What steps have you taken? And more conversational and relational, which turns out to be just so beautiful, especially in an age of digital technology and AI, when those things are wonderful. And I'm so grateful we have the virtual conference available this year, but there's something special about being there in person. That's for sure.
Oh, Rachel, you said it so well. That's what I love about our faculty, the fact that they are available to connect with people. And some of those people have written lots of books, that they run large ministries, and we hold them in awe, but they are just there to encourage you and to cheer you on. And Rachel, one more question. Can meaningful connections happen virtually too?
Oh, 100%, 100%. There are opportunities. The virtual conference is structured with so many beautiful opportunities to connect in conversation and prayer, and then meet also with publishing professionals. So we have worked very hard to try to make that opportunity available in the same way. And I'm so excited for those virtual conference attendees.
Well, it will be exciting. And Carol Tetzloff is our virtual conference producer. She is a Wonder Woman. And Carol, every year we work hard to provide practical content that reflects what writers and speakers need today. And we're talking about Christian writers and speakers. Will you share a little bit with us about how the keynotes and panel discussions both inspire and equip those who attend, and how that works for both attending in person and virtually?
For sure. So the great hall, that is where all of the main events happen. And it's one of my favorite times when everyone gets to enter into that room and be together. And if you're virtually, you get to enter into that space as well. And we do a few things that's fun. Before we go live in that room with our virtual audience, we actually have interviews from on-site faculty. We bring in some special guests. And so you're going to be interacting with them even before the people that are actually present at the Print Center does. And then we go into the space, and that's where we have amazing worship. We also get to hear from different speakers that present just truths to us and encourage us. And then we have panels, and the panels are really insightful because Bonnie and Carol, you have done such a fantastic job of just having a variety of people that are going to really bring truth to those who attend. So we're going to learn not only from them and the experiences that they've had, but they're going to speak to things that are really important to us as we navigate our writing and speaking journey, like the current publishing trends or what's happening in the speaking. How do we get those opportunities? Industry insights that will give us just kind of a head up so that we know how to really get our message out there. And then we hear from different perspectives because we have people that have been all around the world. They've had different experiences. They've walked into this particular calling with different opportunities. And so they share all of the things that they have experienced so that it will help us. And I'm sure many of the times as you're sitting and you're listening, you will say the words, that sounds like me on my journey, or that's exactly what I needed, because there is going to be real world application and inspiration beyond what you can even imagine, because many will say after I get done with the main sessions, it feels like I've been more at a retreat than a conference.
Oh, good. And I really think that's why the panels are such a valuable part of the conference, because after each keynote, we have this time where people, they can kick back in a little more casual way in the conference center or even online and hear from so many different people. One panel we're adding this year, Carol, has to do with our theme, Rise Up. And that panel will be answering questions about, was there a time in ministry when you had to rise up in a situation where your need to be in leadership was not popular? How did that impact you? And how did it make a difference? And we are going to be hearing some true stories from leaders who've been in the trenches, and I can hardly wait to hear what they have to say. Well, another extremely valuable member of our team is Bonnie Emery. And Bonnie keeps me on track. Bonnie, one of the things that you do brilliantly is to schedule the one-on-one appointments. And for many participants, especially those who've never been there before, those appointments are the most anticipated parts of Speak Up. So people get a little nervous and they're not sure, how can I get ready for that one-on-one? What advice would you give them?
Easy advice. Do the homework. It's actually written on the website. It's posted under attendee resources for both the writing and speaking track. And for the speaking track, there are actual examples that you can view ahead of time. So come prepared. Have your one sheet printed. Have them ready for your 15-minute appointments. Have business cards on hand. Yes, you may hand those out or you may not, but have them ready. Be ready with your questions. You will have so many opportunities to meet with the experts, and one of the best is over a meal. Our faculty is chosen with care and prayer, and they are at the conference to serve you. And they love to connect during non-teaching or appointment times. So those meal times are valuable sessions that you can actually ask questions. On June 9th, you will get an email from me asking for your top 10 choices for appointments. At that point, you email back those choices to me, and I work very hard to get your top 4 for you. And I give the appointments in the order that they come in, so don't delay or send them early, because I will do it starting on the 9th. So be ready, and don't forget, research the faculty members. Look at the page where they're all listed under 15-minute appointments And don't forget to go all the way to the bottom and look at the value added appointments. Wonderful people that you can meet with. Be ready to learn. Come with a heart that is open and ready to take valuable critique. Listen to the experts. Listen to the experts. Most of them have been where you are, and they're now ready to pass on the tricks of the trade. Take notes. We will give you fabulous book style conference notebook. This is from last year. They're so cool. And you will be able to take notes in that guide. But we also have a digital copy for those of you who are super techie and you want to take notes online. You certainly can do that. It's fully writable. So if you prefer to take notes digitally, that is available. Be ready to enjoy every minute and go away exhausted, because you will be exhausted. You have been prayed for by name by our prayer team, and we are so excited to meet you in person and to enjoy this time together.
Bonnie, I am so glad that you work hard to create that fillable for the fill in the blank answers in our notebook, the fillable answers. And so people can have a device right next to them, whether they're watching virtually or sitting in the conference center. And if they prefer to take notes that way, they can. So thank you for the work you do to make that possible. One last question, Bonnie. What is one mistake people make when they are preparing for appointments?
Not being prepared. So, and this is really cool, Carol. I have been told by our people who take appointments that our conferees are more ready than at any other conference. I love that. That tells me people do the homework. So the one mistake that you can make is not being fully prepared.
Oh, excellent. Great advice, Bonnie. Well, back to you, Carol T. One of the things that makes Speak Up very unique is that virtual attendees receive an incredible experience. And this year, virtual attendees are going to get more opportunities than we have ever offered before. Will you talk us through what the virtual experience will be like?
Yeah, I would love to. So I just realized that this is the 5th year that we are going live from the Prince Center, and just thinking of all the ways that it's grown since that very first year that we did the virtual conference. And one of the big things that were really important to us for this conference when you are watching it virtually is that you didn't just feel like an observer, but you actually felt like a participant. And so the virtual conference is not an afterthought. We have one-on-ones, we have workshops, we have all the things available to you by Zoom. So you're not just watching a conference take place, you are participating in it. And that's, I think, what makes Speak Up Virtual so different than other conferences that have that option. You're going to have access to the teaching sessions. The different levels give you different access, but there's teaching sessions that are going to be done live that you will see there. And then there's also workshops and opportunities to engage in all the teaching that is happening at the actual Speak Up conference at Prince Center. And then you have your Zoom conferences or Zoom workshops that are done by the faculty that we have. You can revisit the content because it will be replayable almost immediately, except for the Zoom calls. There are so many opportunities to connect and hop on a Zoom and meet the other people that are there and attending and get to know them. We have a great team that's going to be guiding you through each of those experiences. So there's opportunities for connection. There's a flexible schedule because you can join it live or you can join it afterwards if you can't get there right on time. And then there's no cost to the travel. You can just sit and you don't even have to put pants on. You can just sit in your pajamas and watch the lives and participate that way. And so it's really convenient. You can get up and get a drink anytime you want or grab something from your fridge. And have kids around you, whatever that looks like. It's really, really flexible, and there's no travel cost. So you can access it from anywhere in the world. Even if you're at the beach, you can hop on and be part of Speak Up. So it's just such an incredible experience. And I know so many people have attended virtually before. And if you can't make it this year live, go ahead and sign up virtually so you can still get the full experience of what's going on at Speak Up.
I love that. And Carol, we have had people in the past attend from 12 different countries. And I think that is so exciting. I mean, we may have listeners right now who have missionary friends on the other side of the world who would love this kind of training, and it's accessible to them because we're live streaming.
So good. So if you're really deciding on whether or not you should attend virtually or just not at all, I highly recommend, because you will have access to the training for at least 30 days in the Facebook group, so you can continue to interact with that. So if you do miss a session, you'll be able to just hop on. And even if you're there live and you miss a session, you can hop in and kind of catch the replay, and it'll be really fun. So I want to really talk through some of the bonus trainings that we have, because as Bonnie said, we do try to equip you before you even show up on campus, and this year, or virtually. And this year we want to really prepare you in even a greater way. So we have 3 trainings that are going to be coming up. The first one is going to, I think we're going to do it just a live like this, and we're going to do it on one sheets, so that if you have questions about how to prepare your one sheet, it's going to be all laid out for you. And then we're also going to do something new on June 24th. We're going to have a Zoom call where we're going to really talk through faculty. We're going to talk through some of the sessions so that you can map out your strategy to make the most of your conference. We know that conferences are an expense, no matter whether you're doing virtual or you're doing in person. And so we want to make sure that you walk away with the best possible training for the place that you are currently at as a writer, as a speaker, as a ministry leader. And then on July 1st, we're going to do just some brief tips on how to do a one-on-one and what you really could bring to the table so that you have a great experience and you're not just kind of guessing who you should pick. So I know many of you will already have picked that because Bonnie will have sent that out, but it will help you prepare for those conversations. So it's going to be a great opportunity. Oh, and also we have a Facebook group for those of you who are attending Speak Up. So make sure you join when that email link comes out. And I'm doing right now a training on what to put in your bio for different audiences. And so that training is going to be for the next probably 2 weeks before we get into the one sheet training.
Carol, that is so exciting. And you're taking the fear out of attending the conference because people will know exactly what to do. So if you've had that little apprehension in your heart, just know that you can go into the conference fully prepared and equipped with everything you need ahead of time. Well, these sessions are really designed to help you to arrive confident, prepared, and ready to take advantage of every opportunity available to you. And I have one final question, and I would like to hear from both Bonnie and Rachel, and Carol, you feel free to jump in as well. But I would like you to finish with a piece of advice. If someone is attending Speak Up for the first time, what is the one thing you would tell them? Rachel, let's hear from you.
I would say just soak up as much as you can while you're there. I know it's very tempting as someone who has been in seasons with a lot of small children. It's very tempting to get to your own hotel room or sharing it with someone else and hide out in there. And especially if you're like me and you recharge by being alone. But I would say soak up as much as you can while you're there, because then you can process it all when you go home. And you just don't want to, you want to make the most of it. I'm very tempted, though, to join virtually after Carol talked about those PJ pants.
I know.
I love that. Bonnie, how about you?
I am going to speak directly to the shy person because I naturally am very reserved, but I force myself to reach out to others. And I want you to know, for you shy people, don't be afraid to be the first to put your hand out in greeting and meet someone. And for those of you who are bold, go up to that person that's standing by themselves. They need that. And I just look forward to the fun, wonderful, lifelong relationships that will happen as a result of you reaching out to the people around you as you come in person and virtually in the chat rooms.
Love it. Carol T., what's your quick piece of advice?
Okay, I'm going to give two really quick ones. My very first year and second year that I was at Speak Up, I actually am the person that sits in the back of the room and doesn't speak to anyone. I know it's hard to believe, but I am that person. And I remember I told myself, I'm going to thank my instructor, the person leading the workshop, before I left every room. So I would at least acknowledge them and tell them one thing that stood out to me. And it made a huge impact in my just ability to be courageous, but also encourage them as well. So that's number one. So that's an easy way to kind of get out of your shy zone. And then the number two thing is pray and prepare. Prepare your heart for what God has, because so often we walk into a space and we have an idea of what we think should happen when God has a completely different plan. So come with open hands and just say, God, lead me to who you want me to speak with, what you want me to learn, and allow me to be sensitive to the Spirit guiding me through this whole conference.
Oh, we have heard wisdom for sure. Well, whether you are a writer, a speaker, a podcaster, a ministry leader, a Bible study teacher, or someone who is simply exploring God's next step, we would love to have you join us.
Yeah. And, there are only a few spots left to come in person. So make sure you grab those before you do. And Bonnie, is there still room in some of the pre-conference sessions?
Yes, there are spots available. Yes.
All right.
Email me if you have any questions. And believe it or not, I still have a few scholarship dollars left. So if you are struggling financially and you're saying, I just can't come because I can't afford it, please let me know. We'll help you be there.
Nice. And can the scholarship be for both in person?
Yes, absolutely.
There you go. So make sure that you get on the conference website, speakupconference.com. Look at those pre-conference sessions. There's even going to be a pre-conference for the virtual attendees this year. That's one of the new things that we are offering. And we are just excited for you to come, no matter where you come from or how you attend. We can't wait to see you.
And to register, go to speakupconference.com. And you will have information there on both the in-person and the virtual options available. This has been a great day. I love being on screen today with some of my very favorite people in the whole world. We want to thank Rachel and Bonnie for joining us. And Carol T., thank you for doing a great job of outlining what we were going to talk about today. Thanks to all of you who are here for another Big Conversation short session. We will see you at Speak Up, and we can't wait. God bless you.
Bye-bye.